Hello, it's been a long, hard fight that nearly cost him his sight and his house. But today, the man who fought to get NHS treatment for his eye disease is celebrating a victory.
89-year-old Jack Tagg from Torquay suffers from wet age-related macular degeneration and led the campaign to get everyone free access to the treatment which could save their sight.
Now, NICE, the body which licenses the drug Lucentis, has recommended that it be made freely available to everyone. Duncan Slytone reports.
The only way Jack Tagg thought he'd get treatment for his AMD was to go blind in one eye or sell his house to pay for it. Now the wonder drug he campaigned for should be made available to all who need it.
If somebody's got quality of life still, who can say how much that's worth? I know what I say, it's limitless.
Mr. Tagg is suffering from wet age-related macular degeneration. It affects an area at the back of the eye which converts light into images and sends them to the brain. But with wet AMD, new blood vessels grow behind the macula, leading to bleeding, scarring and ultimately blindness. Supported by doctors, Mr. Tagg took his fight for treatment to Westminster. Others too in the West Country have battled to receive drugs licensed but not approved for use by NICE. Barbara Clark from Somerset was prepared to sell her house to fund Herceptin, which treats breast cancer. It was eventually approved for use on the NHS. And 5,000 people supported Hazel Watts as she fought for Nexavar to treat kidney cancer. She won on appeal, but by then Mrs. Watts was too ill to take it. Around 70 other drugs are currently being appraised by NICE. Its approval of Lucentis could improve the lives of around 10,000 people each year.
All round excellent, but it's taken far too long. And now our one message to primary care trusts in the West would be, come on, step up to the plate and start to fund the treatment now.
So now Mr. Tagg and many others can continue to enjoy the beauty of their gardens, his future at least looking clearer than it was. Duncan Slytone for West Country News.
Joining me in the studio is Dr. Martin Rankin, Jack Tagg's GP. Thanks for coming in. For a lot of people, is this actually too late, this announcement, for people who could have benefited from treatment with this drug?
Richard, that's the scandal of this. Over the last 2 years, while NICE have been trying to make up their mind as to whether this treatment should be provided or not, hundreds of people across the West Country and thousands of people across the UK have gone blind. Not in Wales, not in Scotland, because they've been treated, but in England, we've been letting people go blind while there was a treatment available, and that is a scandal.
How angry, obviously it makes you very angry, but I mean, how angry and how bizarre is it that we have to go through this whole postcode thing over and over again with different drugs, especially when, as you say, Scotland and Wales appear to have a blanket OK on it?
Words really fail me to express my fury about the way that patients are being treated in this regard. This isn't just about the treatment that's left a few thousand people blind. What about the people at the moment? Today, several people will die when they could have been offered cancer drugs that would have prolonged their lives, but they've been denied them. And the fundamental problem that we've got with this is that there is an assumption made by the government that new treatments will not be funded until they've been approved by NICE. Now, the problem with that is that while they're waiting to make up their mind, your treatment's being unprovided or not provided.
With help, yeah.
And people are going blind. People are dying.
Do you place any credibility in the argument that the NHS is not a bottomless pit? It cannot pay for what, in the end, are very expensive drugs necessarily for everybody in every case?
I think it's a question of priorities being set and money being spent effectively. There is profligate waste in the NHS. There are things like the NHS computer system which is being rolled out, and the money that's been wasted on that runs into hundreds of millions of pounds. There's also a failure to investigate and to identify, OK, there would need to be changes to the law to make this feasible, but there are alternative drugs that, for instance, in the case of the wet macular degeneration, could provide the treatment for a fraction of the cost.
Okay.
But they haven't done the research for it. But we've got plenty of money to buy banks.
Right. Well, that's another subject altogether. Dr. Rankin, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.